It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder. I don't understand parents who won't let their 9-year-old walk to the corner without a helmet, an EpiPen, and a GPS tracker. And God forbid their lips touch dairy. But hormone blockers and genital surgery, fine. Talk about a nut allergy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next Weekend Edition. Hope you are enjoying this weekend wherever you are. Came across these two. One last night, and then the other one this morning on my feed. So, this is the first of two videos. Bill Maher. And I've done at least 2 or 3 videos regarding him and his taste of the red pill. Well, guess what, kids? He continues to taste that red pill like he's popping Skittles. And once again, it's at the expense of Trannie Madness. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Bill Maher, excuse me. We're literally experimenting on children with gender transitions for our children. Now, as everybody knows, the whole situation with the groomer from Florida to Jersey to nationwide. And of course, the libs of TikTok have given ample amount of ammunition to which the leftists continue to bury themselves. But, good times. On Friday's broadcast of HBO's Real Time, host Bill Maher argued that the solution in the debate over gender transitioning for children, quote, "can always be anyone from a marginalized community is an automatic right." Because we're literally experimenting on children. And weighing trade-offs is not bigotry, he further argued. If we can't admit that in certain enclaves there is some level of friendliness to the idea of being anything other than straight, then this is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck in the culture wars using children as cannon fodder. Less than 1% of America before born 1946, that's Joe Biden's dementia's generation, identified that way. 2.6 of boomers do, 4.2 of Gen X, 10.5 of millennials. See that jump? And then 20.8 of Gen Z. And I mean literally. That would be like jumping over a phone book and then all of a sudden the guy behind you jumps across the street. That is insane. But then again, there is zero scientific basis behind it. It's okay to ask questions about something that's very new and involves children. The answer can't always be from anyone from a marginalized community is automatically right. Trump card, mic drop, end of discussion. Because we're literally experimenting on children. Maybe that's why Sweden and Finland have stopped giving puberty blockers to kids. Because we just don't know how much long-term effects, although common sense should tell you that when you reverse the course of raging hormones, something is going to happen and there's going to be problems. We do know it hinders the development of bone density, which is kind of important if you like having a skeleton. Fertility and the ability to have orgasm seem to be affected. This just isn't a lifestyle decision, it's medical. Weighing trade-offs is not bigotry. Penis equals man? Okay, boomer. Remember the prime directive of every teen? Anything to shock and challenge the squares who brought you up? It's why nobody gets a nose ring at 56. And that you haven't noticed that with kids, doing something for the likes is more important than their own genitals. You haven't been paying attention. Dr. Erica Anderson is a prominent 71-year-old clinical psychologist who herself is trans. Okay, so it's Dr. Eric Anderson. Let's be correct now. And who is saying, I think it's gone too far. The LA Times summarizes. He's come to believe that some children identify as trans are falling under the influence of their peers. Gee, really? And social media. It's like that day we suddenly all needed bottled water all the time. If we can't admit that, in certain enclaves, there is some level of trendiness to the idea of being anything other than straight. This is not a serious science-based discussion. It's a blow being struck to culture wars using children as cannon fodder. I don't understand parents who won't let their 9-year-old walk to the corner without a helmet, an EpiPen, a GPS tracker, and God forbid their lips touch dairy. But hormone blockers and genital surgery, fine. He concluded. And never forget, children are impressionable and very, very stupid. Fact. Maybe childhood makes you sad sometimes that there are solutions besides hand me a dick saw. And look, I'm sure the vast majority of parents don't take this lightly, and it's very hard to know when something is real, just a phase. I understand being trans is different. It's innate. But kids do also have phases. They're kids. It's all phases. The dinosaur phase, Hello Kitty phase. One day they want to be an astronaut. The next day you can't get them to leave their room. Gender fluid, kids are fluid about everything. If kids knew what they wanted to be at 8, the world would be filled with cowboys and princesses. I want to be a pirate. Thank God nobody took me seriously and scheduled me for eye removal and peg leg surgery.
And finally, new rule: if something about the human race is changing at a previously unprecedented rate, we have to at least discuss it. Broken down over time, the LGBT population of America seems to be roughly doubling every generation. According to a recent Gallup poll, less than 1% of Americans born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z. Which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
And there you have it. My thoughts. Once again, Bill Maher tasting the red pill and calling out facts and common sense. When you see such a jump between supposedly 10.8 to 20.8 in one generation, but didn't we also hear that Gen Z was the most conservative generation since Gen X? What the hell happened to that? But when it comes to the nonsense that is the transgender movement, it's just that. It's nonsense. The fact of the matter is that we are dealing with a mental illness. That is fact. Gender dysphoria. That is fact. And when you have those who have stood up based off of science, not because of social media, they're called haters, bigots, and phobics. Put me in that category because, of course, I've been labeled as one such because I dare to call out common sense and facts when it comes to men being men, women being women. And if you have a problem with that, it's what's in your head, not what's between your legs. But then again, science, biology, genetics, faith, I'm just calling out facts. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.